Hiya and welcome to a new video series on this channel where I bring you my top 5. This week is my top 5 classics, and all the classics I'm about to show you are all the ones I did at school and I personally enjoyed, so they all have a meaning behind them which I quite like. So the first classic I am bringing you today is Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. I loved it. I loved doing this book at school. It's short, it's sweet, it's such a powerful book, and it follows George and his friend called Lenny, and Lenny has like learning difficulties. So with that, it spoke to me on that level, that George went around with his friend Lenny and they get work on a farm, and George is worried what Lenny will do because they've been to several different places working in America, and he's worried what Lenny will do. And George is kind of like a brother, a father figure, all in one to Lenny, because Lenny doesn't really understand, and that comes out in this book. I loved doing it at school. I had to do a speech in the form of one of the characters. There was an incident in the book when Lenny broke somebody's hand, and I had to do a speech for my GCSE English class as the guy who got the hand broke, the boss's son, I think. He broke his hand. He broke his hand, and he had to. I had to give a speech and how he felt about that, and I really enjoyed it because I don't like getting up in front of a class and talking about it. I think I was the only member of my class who went to the library and got the film out with I think it's Gary Sines, and we watched it again in class, and the film was as powerful as the book. The ending is sad, and I think if anybody's read John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men, will understand where I'm coming from. It is sad. I love the book, and I'm just gonna give you the I'm just gonna there's the back. I love this copy of Mice and Men. There's the front and there's the back, and there's a synopsis. And so it says, George and his large, simple-minded friend Lenny are drifters, with nothing in the world except each other, and a dream that one day they'll have some land of their own, somewhere to settle and live in peace. Finding work on a ranch in California's Salinas Valley, they hope to stay long enough to get some money together, but kind-hearted child like Lenny is prone to getting into trouble, unable to control either his emotions or his enormous strength. He is a target for the casual cruelty of others, and when disaster strikes again, it seems that this time George may not be able to save his friend. That says it all, really. I've read this several times over, and I'm really looking forward to rereading it again. The second book in my top 5 is Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. Again, I did this in school. Loved it. I love Shakespeare. I love Romeo and Juliet. Again, it is a sad book. But yeah, I did this for my GCSEs, I think, or was it in Year 9? For SATs, but I don't know. I loved it. I loved every bit. I like the cover. This is the Wordsworth Classic covers, and I've got several of these books in different editions or classics. But yeah, everybody knows what Romeo and Juliet is about. If you don't, it's about a young couple from different houses. You've got the Capulets and the Montagues, and Romeo and Juliet fall in love with each other, but they can't be together, and stuff happens, and it's a play, so I find it quite hard to read plays because it's like in that format, and you need to get some people together and do the play. But I loved it at school. Such a good. I think if you want to get into Shakespeare, I would recommend Romeo and Juliet to get into Shakespeare, because it's such a short book as well, and I think Romeo and Juliet would be great to start off anybody's Shakespeare journey. And yes, and if you do read it, or if you have read it, let me know in the comments. And let me know if you like classics or what classics are your favourite. So that's Romeo and Juliet. The third book in my top 5 is Arthur Conan Doyle's The Hound of the Baskervilles. This is my all-time favourite Sherlock Holmes story. Purely because it's that mystery surrounding the Hound of the Baskervilles. Is it real? Is it not real? It did terrify me. We did this in year 9 at school. We watched the film. It has so many adaptations, it's ridiculous. Again, I would recommend this if you want to get into a Sherlock Holmes book. This is the only Sherlock Holmes book I've read. I am planning to read more Sherlock Holmes, but I love The Hound of the Baskervilles. Again, if you like the mystery of it, then go ahead and read it. But I loved it. I loved every single minute of it. You can't go wrong with a good crime thriller, a good crime novel. So yes. The fourth book in my top 5 is Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. Again, I did this at school. I bought this from the library when they were, libraries kind of want to get rid of stock, so I got this book. I don't really particularly like the cover, so I might have to get another edition. I've seen the TV adaptation. I haven't read it since I got it. I did it at school, so you just skim through the bits you need to learn for your exam, really. Basically, it's about an orphan called Pip who goes to London under a mysterious benefactor and meets this scary old woman called Miss Havisham, who in her past hasn't had a very good run-in with men, and she's adopted a girl called Estelle and makes her like her, and Pip falls in love with her, and it's always about his adventures in London, and it was such a great read. I remember we had to draw the house where one of the characters lived in English, but yes, I did this for my English class. Next book, and the last but not least, is number 5, is Tess of the Durbevilles by Thomas Hardy. This is a big book, so is Great Expectations. This is a massive book. I borrowed this off a friend, and then I saw this edition in my local bookshop, so I decided I enjoyed it so much I'm gonna get it. The language, if you're starting off with Thomas Hardy, the language is a bit of a, you need to get your head around the language first, and then you'll be fine. It's a long book. I chose Thomas Hardy because Thomas Hardy based a lot of his books in and around Dorset, which is where I'm from, so I'm from Thomas Hardy country. Yes, and so most of his places are local places in Dorset, but with different names, basically. So yes, that's my top 5 classics. Here they are. My top 5 classics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In that order. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye bye!